This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the ULA Equipment Ultra 30-liter Dragonfly, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So in typical ULA equipment fashion, we have some awesome materials here and a few different ones, and they go into great detail about what they are and what they're made of, etc. So the primary pack material is their Ultra fabric, hence the name. It is UHMWPE, ultra high molecular weight polyurethane mixed with high tenacity polyester, and then there's a laminate as well. So that's a lot of technical jargon, but this is like the material's basically waterproof. I can't remember the exact rating, but we have it on our site and it's on their site as well. I will say I don't love the feeling of this material. I described it as feeling a little bit icky, but I'm totally okay with it feeling a little bit icky because it's very highly durable and very, very water resistant. So the material itself is waterproof, but obviously there's stitching and stuff like that, but took this for walks in the rain, no problems. It really handled itself very well, and I think it looks pretty sleek as well. I've got quite a bit of stuff shoved in here right now, so it looks a little funky, but it carries very comfortably, and we'll get to that as well. So we've got the ultra stretch material here on the sides, and that is a nylon 6/6, I never know how to say this, lycra, whatever it is, and then an ultra PE all woven together, and then it has a DWR coating as well. So I really like the stretch material. I tested the last version of the Dragonfly as well, and that one was a little bit stretchier, but this one feels a little bit more durable, so it's kind of a nice compromise between the two. But overall, very happy with the materials. We've got YKK zippers, we've got Duraflex hardware, just really high quality stuff from ULA equipment here, and that's kind of what we expect from them, to be honest. So very happy with that. But we've got this drawstring here on the front. So right now I've got stuff in this front pocket, so you can see the drawstring is not as effective, but you can still use it. It stretches out pretty far. So if you wanted to shove something wet in here so it's not inside the backpack, you could do that, or just really shove anything. You put like a yoga mat on here or something if you wanted, just to kind of cinch it down and keep it secure. We've got massive water bottle pockets. As you can see, they come all the way down to here. I actually use this for a tripod as well. I forgot my tripod at home today, so I couldn't put it in here to show you, but my travel tripod fits in here. You can actually fit a full-size tripod in here as well. On this side, I have my 48-ounce Nalgene. Fits in here, no problem, barely even fits out of the top. Above those, we have compression straps here, so you can compress this down to make the pack look a bit smaller at the top, kind of just give it a little bit tighter look, and you can also use this to cinch things down, taller things that you stow in the side pockets here. So very, very effective on the sides as far as I'm concerned. Really like using it for various things. And we have a hook and loop fastener here as well, so you can leave the ULA logo on there, or put your own whatever patch you want to put on there, or just take it off and you can just leave it like this and be a person of mystery. So moving on to the harness system, I've got something still in the front pocket, so it's kind of rolling around right now. But these shoulder straps are very S-curved, as you can see. I really like this. It's very comfortable for my body type. It's not going to work for everybody, and I do think this harness system can feel a little bit claustrophobic if you have a smaller frame, but if you are a little bit taller or have a larger frame like I do, it's very comfortable. It works for me very well. We have these attachment loops up here, so you can attach things here if you want to. The sternum strap is on a rail, so you can make micro adjustments to make it fit for you perfectly. Then we've got the sternum strap here, obviously just no strap keeper there, but it does the job pretty well. Not super easy to adjust, which I like. I don't want it to come undone like while I'm trying to use it or anything like that. But moving on to the back panel itself, there's not a ton going on here, but I actually kind of like that because both the shoulder straps and the back panel, they're not super well padded, but they have very dense padding, and I like that, and they're pretty malleable. So obviously I can't show you that with the back panel as much because it's stuffed with gear. But obviously you have padding and aeration here to keep things cool. You also have that aeration on the shoulder straps, and then like an air channel on this side, and then air channels on this side too. So it doesn't do the best job as a back panel at keeping you cool, but the backpack is also very light, which I think helps keep you cool as well. So for this backpack being as dark as it is, I found it to keep me pretty cool, especially for how big it is and how much gear I'm able to shove inside of here. So this harness system works very well for me, but I think your mileage may vary depending on your frame size and just how you like to wear your packs. It kind of feels a bit hikey, but I don't think that the pack looks overly hikey, so I think it's kind of a nice combination of the two. If you are finding this video helpful, make sure you throw a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. So as you can see now, I have the backpack on, and it really comes down pretty low, and I stand just over 6 feet. So depending on your height and your torso size, this might come down a little bit more than you like it to, but overall I find it to be very comfortable, very similar to the other Dragonfly that I tested that is right here on the backpack backpack wall. I forgot to mention in the last section that we do have a hip belt here, and it is removable. So we have very similar padding on this and aeration as well. And it's not, sometimes I find that on hikier backpacks or even just backpacks that are trying to have a comprehensive harness system, that these are too much. And this one is just enough for me personally. It really just gives me the ability to kind of shift that weight around without feeling too claustrophobic on my hips. So very comfortable, but again, I think your mileage may vary depending on how tall you are, how tall your torso is, but very comfortable for me. I rode my bike with this backpack. I went for longer walks with this backpack. I really did everything you can do with this backpack while commuting to and from work. And I'm just very happy with how comfortable it is. And as you can see, the S shape on these shoulder straps really conforms to my body pretty well. And I just really find it incredibly comfortable, especially I have a bunch of heavy camera gear in here, which we'll get into in just a little bit. So here's just a quick look at the hip belt there. As you can see, you can pop it off if you don't want to use it, but very easy to attach it if you do. But time to get into the compartments. We'll start with all of the secondary compartments. There are quite a few. So this front one here also uses this stretchy material. It's kind of easier to show you before I open the pocket. So you can put more stuff in here than you might be able to otherwise, and that also helps bring the backpack up to its 30-liter capacity. So I've just got a sweatshirt stuffed in there right now, and it's a pretty big sweatshirt, and it really didn't want to go in there, but because of that stretchy material, I was able to get it in there, but it did not say folded when I pulled it out. I probably could have been nicer to it and got it out still folded, but it works. It got in there. Throw that to the side. But as you can see, it takes up the whole front face, so you've got a ton of space to work with, and you can kind of see that stretch as well. Put it to the side. You've got that space to work with, and it's stretchy throughout, and you got a little bit of room up here as well, so you could, in theory, put a taller item here. So these two do work in unison. The bungee cords here, the elastic, and that front pocket. So if you have a bunch of stuff in this front pocket, I don't think you're going to be able to stow as much in the cable here. But if you're, smart with how you pack and only put, a fair amount in each, you can use them both pretty easily, because the more you stow in that front pocket, the tighter this is, and it's harder to throw stuff in there. So just depending on what gear you're bringing will depend on how you use that compartment. So up here on the top, we have this big pocket here. So I've got my over-ear headphones stowed inside there right now. And then my wallet. My phone's charging, otherwise my phone would typically be inside there as well. So pretty big compartment. I really like this. It's just kind of a big dump pocket. When you put more gear inside of here, it kind of fills up this area more and makes the backpack look a little bit better. But if you have not a lot of stuff in in the main compartment and put a bunch of stuff here, it can kind of look a little odd. But again, this is more of a get it done backpack than I want it to look super sick. So that doesn't really bother me so much, but it might bother you. We do have a key leash right here, very short, nice little carabiner to attach your keys to. It is if you see here, they have their logo on there, so it is one of their carabiners. Sorry, I got a little too close for focus there. But when it comes to key leashes, for me personally, I either want them to be incredibly small or really long. So if it's really long, I'm able to, open all of any door that I might need to open with it because it's so long I don't have to take the keys off. Or if it's really short, it just doesn't get in the way. So I really like this one's really short, but it's just my personal preference. You might like one that's a little bit longer, but not too long. This one works well for me, especially, if you're going to work and back on your bike or something like that, your keys are going to be there. Or if you're going for a 3-day hike, your keys are going to be there. Good carabiner, doesn't get in the way, so you can still use this pocket without worrying about your keys. So the last secondary compartment to chat about is the laptop compartment, which you can see you access here. Very, very big compartment. So I don't have a computer in here right now, but I can quickly grab one because I should have put one in there. We have a 16-inch MacBook Pro here. So this is listed as fitting up to a 15-inch computer, but it will fit some larger computers if they are skinnier. But that goes all the way to the bottom, and you can see there's quite a bit of extra space there. So I've probably got a solid 4 inches in height. Obviously, that's not going to help with width because this is pretty much maxing out the width right now. There isn't a ton of padding for this thing, so depending on the size of your computer, obviously we do have some padding here, and then you have obviously not as much padding, but padding to protect it from the gear up here. So you could, if you have like a 15-inch or smaller, you can probably put a case on there if you're worried about it. I didn't use a case while I was testing this. I actually had it fall off my desk once because I got into work and I was heated about something. I don't even remember what it was. And the backpack went tumbling down, and my camera was in there, my laptop was in there, and everything was fine. So that's just one example, but I don't know, works fine for me. Not a ton of padding, so if you were going on a longer trip, I can understand why you might want it. And one last thing to mention that I forgot to mention in the last section too is we do have this handle here. Not super well padded, but there is some padding, and I really like that because, if you're on public transit or if you're doing whatever you might be doing on a hike, sometimes you just need to have something to grab onto to get the bag from point A to point B. So overall, pretty happy with the secondary compartments. But let's keep going. So it's kind of funny, we give the main compartment the longest section, but for this backpack, it doesn't really need it, and we'll dive into why now. So we have a clamshell opening here. So I will say, if you have a bunch of stuff stowed here, it makes it a little bit more challenging to get to these zippers and open it. That's again just a personal thing. Obviously we have an AquaGuard seal on these zippers as well, which makes it a little bit slower, but once you get used to it, if you're watching this video, you're probably already used to that. So just something worth noting. So flip this open, we have the clamshell opening. You can really get into the nitty-gritty of organizing your gear. And we also have some organization on the top lid here. So this bag really doesn't do any organization for you. This is one of the only places where you're gonna see organization in the whole pack. And because of how I pack, I didn't find these super useful, but if I were to go on a longer trip, I think that I would use these for socks, underwear, maybe other small articles of clothing. It just, again, depends how you pack. If you don't have very much tech, you could throw your tech in here. Obviously, there's not a ton of padding here, and whatever you put inside this pocket is gonna be kind of rubbing against it. But it's nice to have these two pockets, and especially this one here, which opens up on the top end as well. And you can kind of see that laminate pretty well here. That gives you protection from the elements and water sneaking into the bag. So inside the main compartment, we've got a large, maybe extra large packing cube, depending how you look at it, and then two small or medium, again, depending how you look at it. A lot of room. I wasn't even maximizing this space either. There was room up here because obviously if I undo the compression here, I have quite a bit more room in the bucket. So I could have stowed a lot more stuff inside of here, but this is just what I used it for on a weekend trip. So in addition to the packing cubes, I have my toiletry pouch, which I transfer with me from bag to bag to bag. Not huge, but warrants having space. And then I have my tech pouch here. So I definitely could fit all of the contents from this inside of here, but I just like having this, especially here working at Pack Hacker and testing so much gear. You can switch this from one to the next. So I typically keep things in here, but it's all gonna fit in here if I wanted it to. Again, it just depends what you're bringing, how much tech you need, etc. If you're bringing a big laptop charger, this is a good place to stow that as well. And then on the bottom here, I just have this camera cube with my camera and one lens inside of it. It fits really nicely in the bottom, and I didn't have to compromise on trying to get it over. Obviously, this material here doesn't have a ton of protection, so if I were to stow my camera in here long term, I want to use a cube or something that's going to protect it. And that goes for pretty much anything that you might want to stow inside of here. Obviously, clothing and stuff like that's going to be fine, but a camera, other tech, like a drone or something like that, you're going to want some protection because this backpack is very malleable, except obviously you have some rigidity here on the back panel, but even this, you can fold it over like that. So you have padding there, but it's not it's just not the most. It is a very malleable backpack. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to play with my words. I shouldn't be. We have two compression straps here on the back, so you can cinch gear down. So if I were to not have the camera in there, I probably would lay the packing cubes or just clothing loose on the bottom and then cinch these down. I like these because they don't really get in your way when you're not using them. There is a lot of extra strap here right now when I'm not using it, but if you are using it, obviously you're not going to have as much leftover strap because you're going to be able to undo these, and then you're going to have stuff there. So there's not going to be as much strap depending on what you are cinching down. But overall, very happy with this compartment. It's, as I said earlier, it's not doing the organization for you. Nothing in this backpack is going to do the organization for you. It's kind of on you, which may leave some users feeling like they don't know where to put their stuff. But if you're already using packing cubes, a tech pouch, a toiletry kit, and stuff like that, it's likely all going to fit inside of here. And this is an incredibly lightweight backpack, so it's going to make what's on your back lighter than it would have been if you had a bigger backpack from Air or something like that. And I'm not saying that to disparage those backpacks. It's just this is just incredibly light. It's really nice how light this is, and I've kind of rambled on about that enough. So overall, very happy with this thing. Very lightweight. Has stopped water from getting in my bag multiple times, including on a bike when it's getting sprayed up. Pretty easy to clean. Very happy camper here. So there you have it. The ULA Equipment 30-liter Ultra Dragonfly. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.